World War II, one of the many wars with a mustache-twirling villain. Many people remember this war for tanks and for the brave men who gave their lives in the face of danger, and I do agree. But when in the realm of comic books, when someone thinks of World War II, what do they think of? They think of Captain America versus the Red Skull. Captain America was invented in 1941 and would be recognizable for many years past that, even teaming up with Batman to fight the Joker, where the Joker would proceed to realize that Red Skull is a Nazi and say he's American crazy. Yes, this actually happened. But I'm your guide today on this wacky world of movies because on Captain America's exact 70th year anniversary, they gave us Captain America the First Avenger. Besides coming at a very convenient time, this movie was revolutionary in the MCU because, in my opinion, it's good, but it's mid. It's the third best movie of Phase 1, which I'm not a huge fan of Phase 1. The highs were very high, but the lows were very low for Phase 1. But yeah, I'm Josh from my studios, and let's talk about the mid world of Captain America the First Avenger. This movie is often praised for its story. I don't agree. The story of this movie is so boring. The story goes as following. Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, takes a serum after his best friend is captured at war. He becomes a hero, but he's just trailing around until he ends up saving his best friend and becomes the true hero, Captain America. He gets his vibranium shield, takes out the Red Skull, and somehow, after being frozen in ice, ends up in the 21st century in 2010 or 2011, where he would later team up with the Avengers to face Loki. This plot, in my opinion, in terms of being translated from a comic book, was done very well. This is literally, you could turn this into a comic book. It's not something like Iron Man or the Avengers where it really wouldn't work and is translated poorly, although I don't really care. Like I always said, comic accuracy is stupid and should never be put above actual story. I do think that it's sometimes important because it's such a simple origin story. It really communicates to you. Captain America, brave guy who has a shield, superhuman stamina. It's a great way of communicating his power set and his generalized story in a simple 2-hour adventure. But that's where it kind of ends because I think the story is too simplistic. It's point A to B, C, D, E. Because point A, he's weak. Point B, he gets his powers. Point C, he's in the war. Point D, he saves his friend. Point E, he stops the Red Skull. It is a simple story. There's no twists to me. There's no shocking moments. And I had waited a really long time to watch this movie because I was never interested. It's not like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where that movie I saw it very recently after seeing this movie. It is a great sequel. It's one of the best MCU movies to ever come out. This one is okay. I think that it does some things good and some things bad. A very good, I think a scene that communicates to me a good aspect of this movie would be the scene where he first gets his powers. So he first gets his powers, and you can see him bravely chasing after the guy from Hydra. He runs, and you can check out his new stamina, his strength, and his resolve to save people around him. This scene, in my opinion, it communicates the heroism of Captain America and what he can do without the shield. This scene is one of my favorites in the whole movie, and I think it's probably the best scene in the whole movie. Another non-criticism I'll give this movie is that when the fights against like Captain America and the Red Skull, although they are bad, and we'll get into that later, the fights with the army are some of the best parts of the movie. That montage is probably the best part of the movie. It shows a good wartime movie that really haven't been many good wartime movies. A good example of a wartime movie, I guess, would be Wonder Woman, but the third act kind of fumbles the entire movie. You can check out this video if you want to get more information on my opinion on Wonder Woman, but Captain America, I don't think fumbles the bag that bad. The ending is kind of in line with the movie, although it gets kind of mystical with the cosmic cube. I don't think I think that this movie was kind of forced to do that though because Avengers was releasing. It was kind of a weird twist at the end that I didn't like very much. So I'm like, oh my god, cosmic cube. It's the cosmic cube, and it's just like it's not to me. It's a stupid twist that didn't need to be there, and kind of just adds to the mystical effect of the Avengers. This and that. You know what I mean? I will say though, I kind of liked how they integrated Howard Stark. I think that was an important thing to do for the movie, and I like that a lot. Now, my criticisms. Oh, I'm not going to be as favorable, my criticisms for this movie. Starting off my criticism number one, I really, really don't like Captain America's costume in this movie. If you go to the Winter Soldier, his costume has no straps and stuff, and it looks awesome. The straps kind of just ruin the costume. This is my favorite. This is, I think, one of my favorite MCU costumes without the straps. The straps kind of ruin it. Although I guess I can commend it for being more war-y. I also kind of wish we got more character development for Captain America in this movie. He goes from being a scared guy to a strong guy. I like that part. And we also see him be brave without the power. Kind of like what they do in Captain America Civil War, which I have not seen in forever. I need to rewatch that movie. But I wish we had gotten more as him as a weaker soldier. The movie needed to be kind of rushed a little bit. It just needed to be rushed. I kind of understand. But I think they could have. There are some parts they could have cut. They could have cut a lot of that montage with he's dancing and everything. They could have cut like half that montage and it would have been fine. They can also cut very easily. They can cut some of the beginning of the movie. I just want more room for Captain America to really be that weak boy and see him defend people around him as that weak boy. I really liked Bucky Barnes as well. I thought Bucky Barnes, speaking of weak versus strong, I like Bucky Barnes a lot. He's the prime example of what Captain America wants to be, and he's the overarching goal of this movie. The goal is for Steve Rogers to become like Bucky Barnes. That to me is the best part of the movie. The movie, honestly, it's weird because usually when I review a movie, it's either really good or really bad. There's no in between for me. I usually review good movies, and I'm not a huge critical person in terms of what I review. I prefer to review a good movie or mediocre movie. I think I've only reviewed 2 or 3 bad movies total. But my question, and I want to pose this for just a generalized MCU, what was the point of this movie? It's like, I get it, it's Captain America, and it introduces the Cosmic Cube. But beside those two things, what does, like, I can't explain it. This movie seems pointless to me, and that this movie could have been summed up during the Avengers. I'm glad they didn't do that because it would have been rushed. And knowing how Joss Whedon rushes stuff, I really didn't want to see with the Avengers. I've already reviewed the Avengers too. Make sure to check that video out as well. I have some pretty weird opinions on that movie that a lot of people won't agree with. And I think that Captain America: The First Avenger is a weird anomaly. It somehow balances, to me, simple yet kind of boring storytelling with decent action scenes and just like a semi interesting character. I wasn't a huge fan of Captain America, and I think this is my main issue with the movie. If you didn't notice on the video, I've been kind of bouncing around points. It's because I really don't know my opinion on this movie that much. I just don't. It's such a confusing movie to me. I watched it, and I didn't understand it very well, and I watched it again, and I kind of understood it. I think my main issue with this movie is I don't like Captain America as a character. Up until Civil War, he was just really boring to me. Boy Scout who does everything good. His journey in Captain America: The First Avenger, Boy Scout who wants to do good. His journey in the Avengers, Boy Scout that wants to do good. The Winter Soldier did a good job. It goes from Boy Scout that wants to do good to someone who has to trust no one. I like that movie. Guess what story in Age of Ultron was? Boy Scout who does everything right. Then Civil War changed this, and it kind of built on the story from Captain America 2. And it just like it built, and it built, and it built, and then Age of Ultron, or no, Infinity War and Endgame both build on that issue more. And post Civil War, he's my favorite character. He's my favorite character that's not Iron Man in the MCU right now. Right? He's great. Pre Civil War, no one really rivals Iron Man. Maybe Thor, but that's about it. Thor has the same story as well. I have always criticized Thor. The MCU just wasn't that good up until Avengers. Like, I hate to say it. Iron Man was good, Captain America was good, the Avengers was decent. Incredible Hulk, and Thor sucked. So, like, we're looking at a 3 out of 5. It's like it's a 1.5 out of 2.5. So it's not really amazing in terms of the ratio. I look at things mathematically. That's how I do it. But another point I really want to talk about is this villain. I don't like Red Skull. Red Skull is boring. He's the stereotypical, and I might have to beep this out, but Hitler figure. He wants power, power, power. He hates those who are not like him, and he wants more power. It's boring to me, and I really wish that they had more original villains. Like the villain in Iron Man, very original. Even the villain in The Incredible Hulk was semi-original. But generally, I just think this movie had a problem with its characters more than anything. It's kind of been conveying that point for a few minutes now, and I also think the movie had a problem jump starting. It was boring for the first 20 minutes. And yeah, the movie just had a lot of problems to me, and I don't know why this movie is so revered by everyone who watches it. To me, it's definitely in the bottom of the MCU. I would say it's slightly better than Captain Marvel. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna be streaming Friday at 9 a.m. about EST, about Comic-Con, everything I thought about it. I'm also gonna be streaming. I'm thinking about streaming Infamous Second Son, but that's not really a given yet. I'm gonna see how well I have to get my capture card working and stuff. So if I can't get that working, I will definitely stream Infamous Second Son that day. I'm planning on streaming from like 9 to probably like 2 in the afternoon. So I'm doing an all-day stream. I want to start streaming video games to the channel and stuff like that to kind of connect more with you guys. But yeah, like and subscribe. If you like this video, you might want to check out my video on, I would say the Avengers is probably the perfect video if you like this video. And yeah, I'm Josh from my Studios. And yeah, enjoy. Have a good day.